Yeah, miss. Miss.
Miss. Even half
What
swing.
happened with you?
I memory about the past.
Focus now.
In 1998, we have a big meeting in Hai Phong to discuss about the future of the company. And our chairman, Dr. Ben, have a vision to go global.
That's a crazy time. They don't think Vietnam should develop software for the world. They think that I am madman.
Since the late 1980s, Vietnam has gone from the brink of collapse to one of Asia's leading technological hubs.
When you look at how fast this country has grown over the past 20 years, it's unbelievable. You couldn't have scripted a story like that.
That's why I know Dr. Ben is very crazy. You talk something in galaxy. We are on the Earth. How to move to the galaxies?
The nation is now pushing boundaries in automotive tech, semiconductors, and artificial intelligence.
AI is a game changer. It's going to change the way we see things around us.
Operating from a cutting-edge campus, FPT has driven Vietnam's tech surge despite setbacks and adversity.
The internet bubble, it's burst.
We come to Silicon Valley with the big hope, but not much preparation.
It was a very risky idea, but that's our DNA.
Thriving, modern, and forging forward. This is Vietnam now. A country with an average growth of about 6%, a hub of innovation.
Vietnam is one of the biggest digital economies in Asia. Let's just look at the numbers. There's over 94 million smartphone users, over 82 million mobile broadband subscribers. That's 74% of the population. That's huge.
Global giants like Apple are setting up shop, and local leaders FPT are soaring, with orders for 70 million chips by 2025.
So we know US and China aren't getting along right now. And if you're a global technology company, you're looking to diversify. And Vietnam is the best place to do that in terms of quality of engineering talent, affordability, and then in a position here in Asia that's very easy to ship things anywhere across the globe.
Today, a beacon of progress. But 50 years ago, this was a nation struggling to survive while mired in seemingly unending wars.
We didn't have clean water, soap, clothing. Children were malnutritioned. Vietnam was one of the poorest countries in the world and was on the verge of a socio-economic collapse.
With Vietnam in crisis, people seized any opportunity to travel abroad and make a living.
As a student, we went from Vietnam to Russia. I get my PhD and I work for Academy of Science. We have good homes there in Moscow. We have enough food, enough electricity. We have travel, have bus, everything. If you compare the income in Moscow and in Hanoi, it should be 1,000 times difference.
With hunger a daily reality, the government was faced with the seemingly impossible task of rebuilding a nation on the precipice of ruin. But it was at this time that Vietnam's entrepreneurial spirit began to take root.
People were struggling to survive, and they decided to take matters into their own hands. Some people started to set up their shops, and shops started to pop up everywhere, even when the government did not allow private businesses. But they found these practices actually helping them improve the economic performance of the country. So the government started to adopt market reforms that culminated in the Đôi mới policy in 1986.
With these economic restrictions lifted, people rushed to establish private businesses.
At that time, my friend went to me and said, "Ben, please save my family. Vietnam economy in disasters. We ask the ministers level directors of the National Institute of Scientific Progress to allow us to form a company. And he asked, what's the product we're going to produce? But we don't have any plan in mind. And he said, okay, food processing technology. And then I agree because I just need some company to help us to survive. This is our first home. It's situated within one of the most historical villas in Hanoi. And also at the same time, that's first FPT office. We start from garage. Yeah, very happy memory.
The đổi mới reforms basically changed everything. First, people's incomes improved significantly. The GDPs increased multiple times. When the U.S. decided to lift its embargo in 1994,
the best way to ensure cooperation from Vietnam is to end the trade embargo.
Trade and investment exploded, and with the normal trade ties came tourist technology transfers, more market access. Vietnam was able to open up even further, and the country had even more economic opportunities.
A lot of technologies company come because they know they will start operation in Vietnam very soon. People feel very excited.
A lot of foreign delegation coming to seeking a business opportunity, and among those, that's IBM. Very important to FPT fate.
By now, FPT had shifted their attention from food technology to just technology. However, the company and the country were feeling their way through the unknown. They needed a breakthrough, and that came with IBM.
Before 1994, PC is a luxury item. At that time, I used to go to a computer center weekend to rent a computer for an hour to practice and to test my programming. That is the IBM PC 2A6. It's amazing.
In Vietnam, IBM start to find the partners by calling to different offices. And they said, I have the broken IBM printers, help me. And they call a lot of companies, but they answer, no, I don't have this kind of service, so on and so on. But my one staff say, wait, for 10 minutes, I will come over to look. He don't know about IBM, he don't know about the IBM printers, but somehow fix. And by this attitude, IBM selects FPT as a very first partner in Vietnam.
The company grew fast, sealing more deals with the likes of HP and Compaq.
And then we the number one computer company in Vietnam.
We were happy because that's our strategy to reach the success. We have a new way to survive.
Everything looked rosy. The Vietnamese economy was booming, and FPT's gamble on technology was paying off in a big way. But when their American partners encountered unexpected turbulence, Dr. Bin grew extremely concerned.
I was surprised. Why IBM lose money? And then I asked the country manager. He explained, when you stay long time in the top, you go down. And I worry. FPT is ready on the top. And in order to avoid collapse, we decide to take more challenge and to go global.
In 1998, we have a big meeting in Haiphong to discuss about the future of FPT. And our chairman, Dr. Bin, have a vision to go global or die. And everybody shout, it's foolish and crazy. There are so many limitations for Vietnam. Like internet, very poor. Most of people cannot speak English. And the technologies we learn from very old book. So how we can fulfill the demands from the market. And nobody believe in that vision.
At first, I'm very surprised. But then I fully support him.
No, she didn't say that.
It's not important what I said.
Fraught with uncertainty, FPT decided to open up shop in the US, an expansion kicking off just as a global crisis was about to shake the tech industry to its core. Vietnam had avoided disaster and secured vital foreign capital. Embracing the new open market opportunities of the 90s, tech leader FPT was aiming for the global stage. But the tech industry was about to be knocked to the ground.
Towards the end of the 90s, growth in internet companies was at an all-time high. So with all this excitement of new technology, a lot of companies were going public, listing on stock markets, and then you had a flood of investors coming in.
The NASDAQ market this year has enjoyed phenomenal success, a great return for investors because it's so heavily weighted toward technology stocks and the internet stocks.
Many of these companies weren't even profitable. It was just the promise of the future. Around the same time, the US Fed actually increased interest rates. So what this meant was it was a lot more expensive for businesses to borrow money. And so we started seeing investors panic selling stocks. So dot-com companies that were worth hundreds of millions of dollars became worthless in a matter of months.
The situation was so bad. It was very difficult time for FPT Software because we just started with the business. Basically, there's no jobs, few projects, few thousand US dollars, and it doesn't make sense to continue a business in the US.
FPT's global strategy was over before it even began. Their next move needed to be a smart one, so they turned their attention a little closer to home.
After we failed in the US, the global strategy was almost canceled.
Nobody believed in that vision. People say, don't lose money on the mission impossible.
Vietnam and Japan share so many similarities. We look like them, we behave like them, we're sharing the same religions. The Japanese people are more like patient than the US, and if our global strategy can work anywhere, it would work in Japan.
We started visit to Japan in 2001, but not easy to find a job. So when we have a meeting with a big company like Hitachi, it's make or break. Because until that day, Japan market bring no money for FPT software. We really need this job.
So with their plans for global expansion hinging on their success in Japan, a young team sat down for the most important meeting of their lives.
During the meeting with Hitachi, we introduced about Vietnam, about FPT, about our strategy to work for Japan market. At the end of presentation, normally the people will ask a lot of questions, or at least they wake up. But in the case of Hitachi, no reaction. It was not a good sign for us.
In the 1990s, education here in Vietnam was quite limited.
We opened the new office in Japan, but we faced a big problem. It's really difficult to recruit new people, so it's critical that we have to focus on the IT trainings and IT resource.
Taking matters into their own hands, the company made the unprecedented decision to train the next generation of tech talent.
That's why the FPT University was established in 2006 in order to fill the gap for IT resource in Vietnam and Asia region. we select about 30% best student come to FPT to start the internship in FPT software. And when they graduate, they're ready for the projects overseas.
Vietnam was now able to produce high-quality IT graduates. And as the nation grew and transformed into a modern economy, FPT's ingenious decision to create a supply for their own demand was propelling them across the world stage. But once again, global events would affect the company's plans, as a crippling blow brought the entire world to a standstill. The COVID-19 pandemic forced us into a new type of existence, one where cities lay deserted.
The streets were empty. It's like we were in a wartime.
The only sound you can hear is the ambulance.
But despite the same reality, Vietnamese people viewed things differently.
They call Vietnamese people resilient because Vietnamese people were able to fight and win different wars, survive starvation, drought, even economic hardship. So all these past experiences have helped Vietnamese people become tough, and they don't easily fall under pressure.
So when COVID happened, many customers want to transform the operation, and Cox Automotive in the US is one of our customers. At the time, really tough to fly to US, but we sent a team to US immediately for 3 months.
With a client intent on consolidating the work of 200 vendors into a select few partners, it was FPT who came out on top, somehow increasing business during a global catastrophe.
So because of success of our project, we have many other customers give us a new project, like a Ford, NXP, so FPT still keep growing in profit.
Though their global efforts bore fruit, the reaction within the country was a true display of Vietnamese spirit. FPT channeled Vietnamese resilience, finding opportunity where others saw problems. Central to this is their ability to innovate, something that's come to the forefront in recent years.
This is Vision AI, and imagine we are in a factory floor, and in this conveyor belt there's products that has defect, and there are products that has no defect. It can just take a picture of the product. If you can see the red box, it shows that this product has some defect on it, and save millions of dollars because we catch it before it comes out to the market.
Since the company's founding in 1988, Vietnam's GDP per capita has increased a staggering 1,910%. And FPT's revenue has grown past $1 billion. But Dr. Bin's motivation was always about more than just money.
I travel. Years, no contracts, no earning, no revenues. First deal, first money. That's so exciting, so sweet. And then we got first millions, first 10 millions, first 100 millions, and now we got first billions. Yes, money is important for sure, but in the 90s, whole countries in deep disaster. That's the reason FPT created to help my classmate family for surviving. But I believe we can help much more people. I remember my childhood in countryside. Kids have to get out from Hanoi to somewhere far away. And I remember that time with
As our world approaches a new technological revolution, Vietnam finds itself in a perfect position to spearhead this new era.
FPT's next big push in AI, in automotive, and semiconductor. Semiconductors will play a very important role for AI in the future. So we try to leverage both.
The world is constantly changing, and you need to use tech to stay ahead. Here in Vietnam, it's companies like FPT that are actually driving that charge and putting the country on the map.
Vietnam got ready 1 million of IT engineers, and half of those are software developers. That is a huge resource if we convert those on semiconductors, on AI, and then Vietnam should not only provide service to Vietnam itself, but also the world.